Hey, good morning and welcome to Thursday. You know the best thing about Thursday? It's one day away from Friday. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and how you doing? Labor Day weekend is almost here. The Derby is going to run. Yes, the Kentucky Derby in September. It makes no sense, but this is the world that we live in now, the COVID-19 world. Right before I was coming on, I was listening to the commercial break. My good friend Brian McKnight, if you're looking for an activity that you can enjoy during the time of COVID, do a trout tamers trip down the North Platte River. It is incredible. Brian's incredible. He's a great guy. The guy's been doing this for decades. He's wildly entertaining. And you're isolated. You're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you, your buddy, or maybe you and your wife, maybe it's you and your kid. A great way, thinking about, what can you do? Because it's so hard. Nothing's open. Or do you really want to, go to the movies or go to a bowling alley if it's open? Do you really want to mess around where there's a lot of people? Try one of those trips. Everybody that I've talked to that's been on it has absolutely loved it. And I was just thinking about, man, I wish I was up there because that's what I would do, because I'm sitting there, me and my wife all the time. We're so poor. What are we going to do? Give Brian McKnight a call at Trout Tamers. Get yourself on one of those trips. You'll be glad you did it, I promise you. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And before we get into all the news, a couple of announcements. Obviously, Labor Day weekend is coming this week. Monday, both radio stations, both 1010 and 1360, we will be closed for the Labor Day holidays. The markets are closed. Everybody gets an extra day off, if you will, so try to enjoy it. But we'll be back on Tuesday. So on Monday, you'll hear the show that we do tomorrow. You'll probably hear that again on Monday, and then we'll be back live again on Tuesday. Our offices here at Patriot will also be closed. So if you're looking to buy or sell, do it today or tomorrow, or you're going to have to wait until Tuesday. And as you know, product availability has become very difficult. And everybody's been pouring in. Every time there's a dip in the market, more people come into the market. We've been having trouble getting large quantities of product. To that end, here in Phoenix, we are buying and paying cash. And I'm talking, you want to bring in 10 20s, 20 20s. Heck, if you want to bring in 50 20s, I'm paying cash. So 800-951-0592. Call, set yourself up an appointment. We'd love to buy what you have. The only thing we're really not interested in, like 100-ounce silver bars, 1,000-ounce silver bars, something like that. But on the gold side, $20, $10, $5, we're buying those Silver Eagles. If anybody ever wanted to sell those, we're buying those, even rounds and things of that nature. So we're in the buying business. We don't do a lot of promoting. Hey, we always buy, but right now we're especially interested in helping you. Well, do whatever it is you need to do with it. And like I said, here in Phoenix, we will be paying you cash if you so desire. A big day in the markets. The Dow at one point was down over 800 points, and it happened in minutes. The Dow had opened up down. It was down about 400 points. Gold was flat. And Jason and I were talking on the phone, and I'm not kidding. It couldn't have been a minute or two. The Dow was down 800 points. At one point, gold was down like $20. Now, gold's come back here now and is down 7. The Dow is down just under 600. But this is just my spin on it. Labor Day weekend, On Tuesday, all the uber rich guys will come back to the office. They've been in the Hamptons. They're on their way back. And yesterday, the S&P, we've been talking about valuations and, you just got to be careful out there because we know, we understand. Listen, we've been through bubbles enough to understand when we see them. I mean, right? I don't care what they say on the idiot box. We understand. Just call a spade a spade, right? The Federal Reserve's created another bubble on Wall Street, another debt bubble. That's what they try to do. They got to make debt bubbles bigger. The S&P took out the record set at the height of the tech bubble as far as PE ratios yesterday. So my guess is they just, had to take a little bit off the top today. I'm not too worried about it. Is there a major Wall Street correction coming? Yes. Do I think it's coming, next week or the week after or the next month? I don't think so because, they're still in full pump mode. But eventually we'll see it, right? And whether it's before the election or after the election, I think that's really kind of the only real debate. Is it going to be before or after? I'm kind of an after guy, only because I think Trump's going to win. If Wall Street thinks Biden's going to win, then they'll probably be before. But that's just my guess. What do I know? I don't know. I don't want to really talk much politics today. 800-951-0592, the best anti-corona trip around trout tamers. Brian McKnight, call that guy. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. This just in, Kurt Russell is going to go to New York and help New Yorkers escape from New York, just like he did, what was that, like in the 80s? Remember that movie, Escape from New York? Nobody can leave. There's no more they're out of moving trucks. You're stuck there. I don't know if you saw the president now saying, hey, you know what? Let's just defund these places. Let's just stop giving money to these cities that don't want to end the violence. And then, of course, New York being one of those places, and Andrew Cuomo telling them, if Trump comes to New York, he better bring an army. Oh, he'll bring an army, all right. Don't you worry about that, Governor Cuomo. I got an idea. How about you get your army out there, get the National Guard out there. Let's get some law and order. That's all I'm saying. Peaceful protest all day long. Knock yourself out. I love it. That's what America's about. All day long. Protest to your heart's content. I stand behind you. I stand behind your right to protest. I do. I think it's wonderful. But when it turns violent, when it turns to looting and rioting, and literally Portland, again today, now says part of the city now is all under mob control. Enough. That's not protesting. Burning people's livelihood is not protesting. So I don't know. Again, I love the mostly. They love to do the mostly peaceful. Mostly peaceful means it's not peaceful. Sorry. That means it's not. Anyway, enough about that, right? Kurt Russell, please help these people escape from New York. Will you please? And I think he did escape from L.A. after that. Dude, you can do them both. Nobody wants to live there anymore. It'll be perfect. Who knows? Maybe Kurt Russell can be the next president, right? After Trump wins again, we'll get him. We'll get it all fixed up. Actually, I don't know. He's probably a liberal. So anyway, jobless claims today, right? This is jobless week. Today's numbers are absolutely worthless. I hate to say it. They decided they didn't like the number, right? We've been talking about these numbers. It's been about, a million plus every week. Today, a number came. They gave a number today. They did. Every Thursday, they tell you, hey, here's how many people file for unemployment claims. And then they always got to do the seasonal adjustment nonsense, which may have made sense if we were all idiots, right? Well, we couldn't figure out that, hey, after Christmas time, a lot of people lose their jobs, or, we can't figure out during the summer Back in the olden days, Ford and General Motors used to just take 2 weeks off. Remember, they used to make adjustments for this kind of stuff. Not that any of it actually still happens anymore, but they did. And they called it seasonal adjustments because they wanted everything to be nice and smooth. Yeah, see, we don't want to have ups or downs because, if it goes way up or way down, we may have to explain to people why it was that, hey, don't get too excited. And so they came up with this great idea of seasonal adjustments. And so we've been going through this coronavirus now for, I don't know how many, what are we, week 24, 25, something like that. And today they decided, you know what, these seasonal adjustments are just screwing us up, right? It's a mess, right? We've got these seasonal adjustments, and most of it was because of, I don't really know what it would be, but maybe Labor Day coming to an end and maybe people, losing their summer job, something like that. I don't know, but they were doing these seasonal adjustments. And they said because of the seasonal adjustments, the number was a little higher than it should have been because of coronavirus. Whatever they were seasonally adjusting for, they didn't say what it was. But this week they decided to take it out because they said that they were overstating it. So I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Boy, this number's probably going to get real low then. 881,000. So I guess it's under 1 million. The problem was they didn't even give us one example. What if you had taken out all the other seasonal adjustments? Because I don't know if this number's any good or not. Is that a good number? I know it's below 1 million, but was last week below 1 million? Were the last 10 weeks all below 1 million? I don't know. So everybody got a little excited when it first came out, and then everybody read, oh, wait a minute. They just changed the way they did the number. Same thing on the unemployment claims. Same thing again. You really have to throw it away. We have to wait till next week. If next week's number comes in at, 880,000, 900,000, then we kind of know, right, these seasonal adjustments, that wasn't worth anything, right? It's just the same old, just a different number. They found a way, kind of like inflation, right? They track 6 different types of inflation. The one thing that's funny about it is I didn't know there was more than one type, right? If something costs more, right, it's inflation. But apparently there's 6 kinds of inflation. They like to use the lowest one, right? So apparently now we've got multiple kinds of unemployment reports. I have been proponent. Nobody wants to do it. But let's just get rid of all seasonal adjustments and use actual data. I know it's crazy, but we've got this brand new invention. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard about it or not, right? But it's called a computer. They're amazing. Matter of fact, your phones are now computers. And the technology, it's amazing. They can do 1 kajillion transactions and calculations in a millisecond. Just think about it. We could actually use real data. I know that's crazy talk. Right? We want to pretend like, we're back in the 50s and somebody's got an abacus out, right? He's got a pencil with an eraser with the little lines on his little paper on his spreadsheets, right? And then we got to mail them, and somebody else got to open the letter, and then they've got to make a spreadsheet. Come on. But here's the problem with real data. You may not like what you see. But nonetheless, today, I just thought, just awesome. I got to give them credit. Listen, brilliant. Hey, listen, this $1 million thing, this 1 million jobs, it's making us look bad. So somehow 181,000, that makes us feel better? That still would be an all-time record high by like 25%. I don't know. Anyhow, that was the number today. the continuing claims, right? Another one they misrepresented again. Listen, long story short, we've got whatever it is, 27, 28 million people every week that need a check. Every week. That number used to be 1.6 million. So, I mean, do the math's simple. It's not that hard. I mean, I don't even have a computer to do that. I did that in my head. Yeah, I know. Public school, baby. You know? So anyway, very interesting number today. No revisions to any of the previous numbers, like I said. So do with it as you like. Something we do need to talk about. The FICA, the payroll tax deduction, could have started for you. It's up to the employer, apparently, whether or not they want to give you your 6.2% of payroll tax. Most employers that I've heard of, people that I talk to that own businesses, are not doing it because the way that is, this is one of Donald Trump's executive actions, right? Suspend the payroll tax and get more money in people's paycheck, right? Another way to try to incentivize these people to get back to work. How it really worked was, hey, for the rest of the year, you don't have to pay your payroll tax. And then again, I think the employers are the one making that call. I don't know if you have the ability to do that. The employer has the option. But what they didn't tell you was, starting in January, they'll withhold double. Right? So it was more like a loan, right? He's letting you have a loan, and then you got to pay it back. Probably way too complicated for most people. So I don't know, some of this stuff makes for real good headlines, right? And then some of it is just trying to, and like I said, when Trump did all those executive actions, he was just trying to get the Democrats to make a deal. Now it was Chuck E. Schumer's turn. Now they're supposed to come back here after the holiday, right? So after Labor Day, they're going to get back. They're all already saying, forget it, we're not dealing. The Republicans, it's not enough. We want 2-point-something trillion more dollars. Headlines everywhere about how big the debt is. And I do want to say this. Be careful what you read. And let me explain what you're reading. So you're seeing these headlines now that says the national debt is now over 100% of GDP for the very first time since World War II. Okay? And then when you read it, if you do read it, they're talking about a deficit of like 20 trillion. And you're like, wait a minute, the deficit's 27 trillion. What are these guys talking about? So this is more of what they're talking about is the debt held by the public, right? They don't want to talk about, hey, the debt held by the Social Security Trust Fund, allegedly, wink, wink, nod, nod, that doesn't count. The debt held on the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, somehow that doesn't count, right? So what, sure, okay, right. If we don't want to count everything, I guess we're at that number, 105% of GDP and rising. And if the Democrats have their way, right, we'll be even higher than that. But again, the just to clarify what they meant, obviously the total national debt is already well above. As a matter of fact, if we get near the Democrats' number of that $2 trillion plus, by the end of this year, we'll be at 150% of GDP because the debt will be $30 trillion. The economy, we got about a $20 trillion economy here in the U.S. So at $30 trillion, you're looking at 1.5 times, and then how much of that's held by the public, right? That's the difference. In case you were wondering, I saw those. They were just about everywhere. Everybody seemed to have an article about the debt being the highest since World War II as far as what is held by the public. So I just wanted to clarify for everybody because it's kind of confusing because you're like, wait a minute, why are they saying 20 trillion? That's why. They don't want to count it all. Kind of like big little number, big number. National debt right now. So you got to remember the fiscal year ends at the end of the month. So at the end of September, the federal government's fiscal year ends. So 2020, as far as the government is concerned, ends at the last day of September. They're forecasting a federal budget deficit of $3.3 trillion. Of course, that's what they're saying the little number is going to be. The big number is going to be somewhere above $4 trillion. And, of course, now the thing that I guess, good news maybe that because of the stall tactics by the Democrats, this next stimulus bill, whatever that may be, by the time it actually gets into the public's hands, that'll go to the 2021's budget deficit. So I guess, there's some good news, I guess, is, we were thinking we could have hit $5 trillion this year, small number, because doesn't look like that stimulus is going to get done in time. We'll just have a bigger number next year. See, everybody feels better. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. There was a survey out. Yes, I love, you know how I feel about surveys, but they sent it out to all the smarty pants economists out there. That's why I didn't get one. And they asked them, in the next 12 to 18 months, are we going to have inflation, deflation, or none of the above? In other words, hey, we're not going to have either one. So we're going to have inflation, deflation, or nothing at all. Overwhelming 75% said inflation. 25% said deflation. My guess it just depends on what part of the economy you're thinking about. Right? We had a great interview yesterday. James Morgan was spectacular yesterday. Already saying he's already getting listings already for these people that are on these moratoriums on their mortgages. And for those of you that didn't catch that, and I'll share this with everybody because I think it makes sense, what he thinks, and obviously anything could happen, but these moratoriums are coming to an end, and each state's a little different. We'll get to the renters here in a minute. The CDC, they did something really crazy the other day. But the chances that these people are going to be able to pay it back are slim to none, because what is happening right now is the lenders want the balloon payment. So let's just say you didn't pay in March. You didn't pay in April. You didn't pay in May. You didn't pay in June. You didn't pay in July. You didn't pay in August. And let's just say your moratorium ends in October. Right? Well, you're going to have to make one big payment to them. They want the whole thing. All the months you missed, all up front. And if that doesn't happen, right, they're going to start that foreclosure process. So if you think you're one of those people, hey, I've got equity in my home still, but I don't, I'm not going to be able to make this mortgage payment, you need to seriously think about doing so, because here's the problem. Sooner or later, the moratorium ends, and then all of a sudden, the inventory of homes, which has been real tight, all of a sudden, there's a lot more inventory out there. The price drops, and next thing you know, all of a sudden, that equity you thought you have, you don't have anymore. And then you're what? Now all of a sudden, you got to have a short sale. We've seen this before. But I guess it just depends on which one you think. I kind of say we're going to have both. I think we're going to have deflationary things in certain areas and a lot of inflation in other areas. To date, child care. Something, my kids are older, so I don't really think about it, because they don't need Sarah and I outside of, give me money, right? Outside of that, right? They could take care of themselves. But the cost of child care, just since the pandemic, I'll give you the total if they do that, the average. Okay, the average. And then I'll give you Arizona and Colorado. The average for an infant is up 29%. Again, this is just since March. An infant up 29%. A toddler, the average is up 45%. A 3-year-old through preschool up 54%. That's a 3-year-old preschool. 4-year-old preschool. Apparently, I didn't know that made a difference, but it does. That's up 59%. And, of course, the worst one, family child care at home. The average in the country, up 70%. Arizona, I'll give you Arizona, I'll give you Colorado numbers. Arizona, infant, 54%. Toddler, 72%. 3-year-old preschool, up 111%. 4-year-old preschool, up 126%. Family child care at home, up 75%. Colorado, some better, some worse. Infant and toddler, up 49%. 3-year-olds up 70, 4-year-olds up 85. Family care at home up 80%. And again, don't worry, though. The Federal Reserve doesn't count that at all. So there you go. So if you were worried about, how's that going to affect the Federal Reserve's inflation, not at all. Matter of fact, you know what every day we've got, it's National this day or National Donut Day or National Pizza Day or National, I don't even know, it's National something day today. Might as well just be, it's National we just made a bunch of crap up day, right? Why don't we just have that? Right? We'll just make a bunch of crap up. Jobless claims, we don't like the number. Let's come up with a new one. Yeah, we'll just make it up. Inflation, we'll just make it up. The percentage of debt to GDP, let's just make it up. Here's the problem. In the real world, we can't just make it up. Right? We've got to pay the bill. I mean, I wonder how many people, because of the cost of child care, let's just say there was a job for them. Right? They were both, mom and dad were working, or maybe, it's a single mom, single dad, or whatever it may be, single parent household, or both parents are working. COVID came along. Maybe you didn't even lose your job. But all of a sudden, the cost of child care got to the point where it was like, well, okay, honey, what you're making working isn't enough to pay for the child care anymore. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at these. I mean, how could double? They're talking about it's up double. I don't know. I just, again, and the fact that they don't want to act like that's happening is one of those things, and you see them. You see the food bank lines, and you see the rioting and the looting, and then you're out there, and we're trying to get through all of these things, and the best thing that could possibly happen is law and order comes back, and we get our arms around this. There's a lot of talk today about this vaccine. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. They're saying, hey, it could be like a couple of days before November, a couple of days before the election. I don't know. I don't know my feelings about it. I don't trust it. I don't know if it's possible, but Pfizer, they have one. They're in the trials right now, and Pfizer says they've got 23,000 people. They want the trial to be 30,000 total. They're up to 23,000 in this, and their particular vaccine is called, let me give you so you can look it up yourself. Oh, boy, where did it go? They always update it so fast here. Well, when I get back, I'll give you the name of the vaccine that Pfizer says could be ready right before the election. Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. The Dow's down 700, the S&P's down 115, the NASDAQ down 565, gold's down 6, silver's down 38 cents. Speaking of silver's just below $27 this morning. I got a bag of AU peace dollars. So these are, we've been doing a lot of these dollars, and the nice ones, right? Now, we people really seem to appreciate, especially, you're thinking about the peace dollars, started in 1922. I think it was all the way, through 1934. The peace dollar, of course, that replaced the Morgan dollar. And the Morgan dollar, that was 1878 or 1876. I can't remember. One of those two. I think it was 1878 through 1904. And then they didn't mint any peace dollars from 1904 to 1921. And then 1921, they minted a kabillion of them. So that's why Morgans, you always have a price for 1921s and then a price for pre-21s. And the pre-21s are always worth more because there's just a lot less of them. On the peace dollar, they created the peace dollar after World War I, right? Because there was going to be peace. Now, we're not going to make that mistake again. Of course, then World War II broke out, and so kind of defeated the purpose. But these are AU peace dollars. So these are peace dollars that were almost uncirculated. So just right before they were going to be graded, these made it into the hands of people who didn't spend them. Somebody took really, really good care of these. The nice part about these is a lot of the dollars, when you're going back and like 100 years, silver's toned, it's all toned and those things. These don't have that. So these were well preserved, really nice looking. We ran AU peace dollars back in the early summer. Silver was about $5 lower. They were at $600 at the time. I got a great deal on these today, $630 a roll on AU peace dollars. Here's the thing: I've only got 50 rolls. There is a bag out there, AU peace dollars, $630, and my guy that is getting ready to ship them to me says, "Hey, listen, they're really nice looking." So Silver Eagles are, they're unobtainable. They're too expensive anyway. You don't want to pay $35 or $36. So think about it. You're going to be able to buy an AU peace dollar, go all the way back to the 1920s, and buy them, in AU condition, and buy them for significantly less than a Silver Eagle. That's just a good opportunity. So if you want to put some silver away, you want something that really looks nice. We got junk silver. The dimes and the quarters and the half dollars, and you know what those look like, right? They've been used, right, and they've got all the toning and all that stuff on it. These don't have that, so these are going to look like they're new. And I wouldn't say brand new, but they're going to have that luster you normally don't see. So AU peace dollars at $630 a roll at 800-951-0592. Now Pfizer. So there's been talk, and at least this morning it was on every channel about, are we going to have a vaccine by November? And a lot of people say we won't. Some say we will. I don't know. Saying you have a vaccine and actually getting people to take the vaccine, two different things. But Pfizer CEO confirmed this morning that the results from its large-scale, late-stage trial, this is a Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. It's called BNT. So the letters BNT 162B2. BNT 162B2 should be available next month if the trials go the way they're hoping. And I guess they're already kind of in the trial stage. Like I said, they've already got 23,000 people that have signed up. That's all the details I have. So I don't know. And I said for a long time about the vaccines, the fastest vaccine we ever had was the mumps. which took 4 years. We've got 2 lines open right now. I got my wife's here, Sarah's here, Arlene is here. If you want the AU piece rolls, $630 a roll at 800-951-0592. Just stay on hold. We'll get you in the order that you called. But the mumps took 4 years. Now, granted, the government wasn't paying for, like, we've paid for all of, the taxpayer has paid for all of this stuff. Pfizer hasn't spent a nickel. Matter of fact, Pfizer's making money from us trying to come up with this vaccine, which, fine. If that's the way we decided to go, that's the way we decided to go. But can we really do it this fast? And is it going to be safe? And part of what takes so long is, it's got to be regulated. What if the mixture's wrong? What if they have, instead of dead cells, they got live cells, right? Remember polio? They tried to rush polio, and it ended up killing 40,000 people. I mean, trying to rush it. And I think a lot of people are already leery of vaccines. And I think just the speed of this and it just makes me, I don't know about everybody else. I know I'm not, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take any vaccine. That's just where I'm at right now. And I am positive that they're going to come up with something that's, if you don't take it, well, guess what? You can't do A, you can't do B, you can't do C, right? Your kids can't go to school, you can't go to work, blah, 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 but kind of force it all upon. That's just what I think is going to happen. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Just like that, over half of them are already gone. So if you're looking to get these AU piece rolls, jump on it now, 800-951-0592. They're $630 a roll. We got 2 lines open again, so the calls are coming in steady here. We got 22 rolls left, and whatever the girls are working on right now. The Dow down 750, so near the lows of the day. The S&P down 120, NASDAQ down 500, gold's down 7. I'm not real worried. It's one of those wipe them out days. We'll see tomorrow. We're going to have the government's jobs number. Apparently, and I don't know, but apparently the Census Bureau workers are going to be in there, so the report may be bigger than expected, but they say that every month, it seems like to me. So we'll wait for the government number. Anything below 1 million is going to be disappointing to me, because it just tells you things aren't really where they need to be. My guess, if I was to guess, 300,000-400,000, something like that would be my guess. But again, jobless claims today, 881, but this was a new metric. They didn't like how they were counting them, so they changed it, and it's less. Not a lot less, right? I mean, it's like, okay, last week we were just over 1 million, so this week, it's 120,000 less. Most people, at least the commentary that I'm reading, is saying the only reason we're below 1 million this week was because the metrics this new metrics. So we'll have to wait for next week. But the jobs number tomorrow, then remember, we've got the holiday. So Patriot is closed on Monday. 1010 here in Phoenix is closed. Colorado, we're closed as well. So both the Colorado radio station and the Patriot office in Colorado were all closed on Monday. So you have between now and tomorrow to do business. And my guess is, knowing us, we'll close early tomorrow. So if you want to get business done, do it. Remember, we're buying here, paying cash right here in Phoenix if you want to sell any of your gold. So far, one taker in 2 days. But we're here if you need it, 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. And thank you, everybody. Again, I know it's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. Maybe if we just focus more on faith than anything else, we could be in a better place, right? God bless everybody. Listen, we got one more show before the holiday week. If you're getting out of town early, listen, be safe out there. Take care. God bless. We'll be back for one last show tomorrow.